Hello everybody, welcome to Underground Ayurveda. I am Dr. Satyavani Gayatri.
And I'm Dr. Michael Bittner.
And we are here today to give you a very simple dish that is Vata Pacifying. Before we get started, I do want to share with you how do I determine the most nourishing foods for me. So I have this great Ayurvedic cookbook called Heaven's Banquet. And in the beginning, it asks a question of how do I determine what foods are most nourishing for me. And in the great Ayurvedic text, there are sort of 8 parameters, if you would. I'd like to share them with you today. And then Dr. Michael and Chef Michael is going to then share our very simple Vata pacifying meal. So the nature of the food is number 1, and this refers to a food's natural qualities, such as lightness or heaviness, whether it is heating or cooling. The method of preparation, whether or not the food is cooked, what type of vessel it is cooked in, how it is flavored, and how clean it is. Combination, how different ingredients and dishes are put together. Quantity, the amount of food needed to thrive on. A highly individual consideration that changes with one's amount of activity, age, and environment. Place or habitat, the influence of the type of environment one lives in or is eating in. And I know you've said a lot of things about that, the type of environment that people eat in.
I've spoken about every one of these, actually.
You have. Time, the consideration of time, such as the age of the person that's eating, the season, and whether it's daytime or evening. And some general guidelines for the best way to partake in food. And then finally, the eater, him or herself. A vital and often overlooked influence, whether or not a food is nourishing, is ultimately dependent upon the person who eats it. One's unique physiology, one's state of consciousness, general state of health influence, and anything else that may affect the food itself. So, Dr. Michael, why don't you share with us this very simple Vata pacifying dish that you are doing today that pretty much anybody can cook very simply.
Yes, well, it's beets, and so in this particular case, a red beet, and I simply cubed it. So I cut off the edges of the beet. You can see this. I'm going to later make a juice with this and other ingredients, but for this, it's just a nice red beet, and I have put it into a bowl after cubing it, and then I'm going to take my coconut oil.
And it's melted.
And it's melted, yes,
Okay.
and just drizzle. And of course, if you have one that's already melted, it's easy. I took the solid form and put it into this and onto the stove for just a moment. And
nice.
So that's done now. And then I have prepared some thyme, which I chopped up. And so this is fresh. And you could use dried if you want, but I prefer the fresh. And so I'm putting that on, and then I'm going to take a little bit of salt and put on, and then some pepper. And then I will mix it all up beautifully.
It smells amazing.
And the oven has been preheated to 400 degrees, and I'm using a pan here with a little cooking sheet on it, and I have spritzed a little bit of coconut oil on there as well. And then I simply dump it in here, and this will cook for no more than 10 minutes, so that it is just a nicely cooked through, but not too cooked. It's not going to be super soggy, but still will have a nice texture to it when you bite into it. And the
but
aromas.
Not too hard.
No, it won't be too hard. No, I don't want it to be mushy, but I also don't want it to be too how should I say?
Tooth breaking?
Just too uncooked, maybe that. Anyway, but it's really quite lovely color-wise. So I will going to put it into the oven now. The oven has...
And you said 400 degrees.
400 degrees.
400 degrees.
And 10 minutes. You can vary it depending upon your oven. But it's very nice to do that. Then, a nice accompaniment. You could have a really nice rice dish to go with it. I have other vegetables. So in my case, I like to slice up some tomato, cucumber, carrot, and have that on the side. A juice or a smoothie, which I make daily, and we're going to, well, we've shown one recently.
More to come.
And then some toast is nice if you eat eggs. So vegetarian, vegan household. So I consume some eggs. Sachivani will not. And again, that is just the difference between that. But we don't eat any other kinds of animal product. So with that said, if you want to have, I like a nice little pastry. So I have a particular bakery here in the area that makes some lemon poppy seed muffins, and again, proper ingredients, organic in nature.
Our cat likes it too.
So yes, I share with Safari. He always has a test of everything. He'll even smell the beets. And so you integrate that. Feel free. I'm going to have some fresh papaya today as well. Spritz that with a little bit of lime juice. So just cube the papaya and then spritz it with some lime juice. It's amazing. So flavorful and nutritious.
So as it relates to the beets, the importance of it being Vata pacifying, right?
Yeah, well, if you figure that Sachivani will articulate, most things, come from having Vata disturbances. And so with this time of year, we've come from winter and we're moving into spring, and it's still pretty cold outside for us. So drying it out. So the beet itself is going to help to bring some fluids. It's sweet in nature, and so those are very nice for pacifying the Vata. And then I've given it a little bit of spice here in the sense of with the bitter from the thyme, and then with the pepper and the salt. So that adds some other taste to it. But those are also important for the digestive fire that's inside of us to help with digestion and absorption as well. Yeah.
So Vata pacifying, very simple. Make the beets. If you have any questions, feel free to email us at info@zenspotinstitute.com. And we will be back with another episode of Underground Ayurveda very soon. Jai Bhagwan.
Bye-bye.